I'm having a wonderful day. The smile like we live is a blessing for me. Today I'm happy because I'm having a wonderful day. Hey, hey. I'm having a wonderful day. Smile like we live is a blessing for me. Today the dreams will be alright. Because I'm having a wonderful day. Right. Welcome to another Friday,
Yes, yes.
May 9th. We having a wonderful day. We hope you guys are having a wonderful day.
Wow, it's the ninth already.
Yes, sir. May
Wow.
9th. It's already almost to the middle of the month. Yeah, so just want to welcome you guys to Peep Game TV and Keeping It Real Team Collaboration, or Keeping It Real and Peep Game TV Team Collaboration, either way you want to say it. So, what's going on, brother?
Oh man, it's a earlier man, I was out and about running errands, doing my ones and twos, and I said to myself, I said, man, it feel good to be alive, bro. It feel good. It feel good to be alive and trying to make a difference. With the show, that's what I mean, trying to make a
Yeah.
difference. So we come up here, we it took us a minute to get our niche, you know what I mean? But I kind of feel like we found our niche now, you know what I mean? So I'm happy about that,
Oh,
so
okay.
we
All
can
right. So yeah. We getting it together, brother. And like anything else, it takes time, man. It takes time, and it takes effort, and it takes consistency.
yeah,
You know,
yep,
those are key elements to make something happen.
yep, consistency, yeah. What's up with you?
Uh, just every day working on the book. You know what I mean? Trying to figure out what the cover is going to be like.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
I posted a few of the covers just to actually see. You
I think
know,
I saw some of them.
right. So it's just basically about just getting it. Getting the covers down pat.
Right. Well, you will get it.
Yeah. Well, actually, believe it or not, I think I've came up with it. I think
Hmm.
I came up with the way that I want to do it.
Yeah,
So now it's just a matter of actually finishing the book up and putting it out.
hey, you could do that.
Yeah. Well, right now I'm basically just proofreading.
Yeah,
The writing part is done, so it's just about now just proofreading. That's all. That's where I'm at now with it. So
man.
even the name, you know what I mean. I'm even work. I'm switching the name up.
Yeah. Oh, you gonna
So
switch the name up?
yeah.
Okay. Whatever sounds best to you.
Yeah. It's just I mean, it's just about getting it, getting it out here. Hopefully, it does what I would like it for the people. You know.
Yeah, it should be. It should. It should. I hope everybody out there feeling good too. You know.
Yeah. I hope you all feeling good. And then thank you guys from taking your time to spend that time with us. We
Mm,
appreciate it.
you sure we do? We do. Right off the top,
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
off the
Let's.
rip.
Yeah.
I wanna address something that's going on all over the world right now, and I want to see what your feelings is of it. It's kind of like you got to choose between facts and feelings.
Mm.
Um, in Cincinnati, another young black youth was unalived by the police officers.
Right.
Shot in the back, I think, while he was running. Did you hear about it?
No, no, no.
No.
This is my first time hearing it. No,
Oh
no.
wow, yeah, it's all over. And so it was four teenagers or black teenagers in a vehicle, stolen vehicle. They say allegedly.
Right.
And I guess the cops got in, a pursuit. Four of them jumped out the car.
Okay.
So the cops, one
Hey,
cop
what's
ran
up,
after
brother?
one cop ran after another one, but one of the cops yelled gun, and they shot the kid in the back. 18-year-old kid shot him in the back.
Wow. Wow.
So they were saying that later on, Google it, it's all over.
Okay.
So they was playing with the video of the dad, the cam that the officers wear. So anyway, they brought the family in the view the video.
Right, right.
The father, the mother, I guess other relatives, whoever. After the family saw the video of what happened, they were so distraught,
Outraged.
outraged, distraught, and the,
Okay.
the father told I guess they was in different cars, and he told his wife, 38-year-old man, told his wife to drive with her family back home. He was gonna drive home by himself. He was messed up. He drove and ran over a cop that was directing traffic, a 30-year veteran, white
Mm.
cop, and now he's in jail for murder, first degree murder. So some people calling him a hero, some people calling him a murderer, some people saying that wasn't the cop that shot his son. Uh, I I don't allegedly I heard that he said he wanted the police now to feel the pain that he feeling. So
Oh, okay.
so his name is Rodney Hinton, and his son name
Oh,
is,
I did see him in
yeah,
court where he
right.
was
That's it.
grilling the cops. I did see him.
That's
I
it.
didn't I didn't know the whole details of what happened with
Yeah,
the son.
they
Okay.
brought in like 30 police officers to intimidate him, I guess, and
Right.
he kept his head up high. He had his head he kept his head up high and staring them down like and
Right.
shaking
Right.
their head. So the bottom line is it's a touchy subject. Number one,
Definitely.
it's a very touchy subject. I got sons, you got sons. To have your son killed by the people who are supposed to protect and serve, it's kind of hard pill to swallow when you look at the past, their history,
Right.
their resume
Right.
of the things that have been going on for so long. And uh, I mean, if you read the comments under it, it's crazy where people saying like people calling him a hero, some people proud of him. But then you got the other flip side where people saying, if you think he a hero, like you crazy, he's a murderer, and it's just a big thing going on right now in Cincinnati. So, what's your take on that?
I
Um,
mean, well, when I originally saw it, I thought he actually went and murdered the same individual that murdered his son. That's the way, that's what I thought,
mm-mm,
you know. And when I thought that, I could, you know, I could have empathy for being angry, being in pain, and acting on your emotions.
right,
You know what I'm saying? So the difference is he was a distraught father
right,
who felt like his son was murdered senselessly, for stealing the car, joyriding. I mean, that wasn't something so serious that his life needed to be taken,
Right.
especially by someone who is trained and, as you said, that is hired to protect and serve.
And they didn't find a gun. They said he had a gun, but they didn't find it.
Well, I mean, that's the protocol.
Yeah.
Anytime they yell gun,
Mhm.
automatically they start shooting.
Yeah, that's what happened.
And then it becomes, I was in fear of my life. You're in fear of your life. Don't you think that, every day, for those of us who live in neighborhoods where people carry guns often, illegal guns, you don't think we be in fear of our life? You know what I mean? And most of us don't have no guns on us.
Right.
So for them to utilize that so many times to say, I was in fear of my life. Maybe you got the wrong job. Maybe you need to be a teacher. Maybe you need to drive the garbage truck. Maybe you need some other type of job, work at McDonald's, some other type of job that doesn't require you to think on your feet and be empathetic towards another life.
Right.
That's my thoughts on it.
It's I try to put myself in other people's shoes sometime, and to see a tape, a videotape of your son being murdered, that could put anybody in a state of insanity, and alter their judgment of thinking, because I mean, yes, you raised your son, an 18-year-old, and
Right.
in 1 minute, okay, he stole a car, he joyriding, but the next minute you shooting him down. Um, I don't know about the just the hitting any cop randomly, that didn't have nothing to do with it.
Right, right, right.
Um, I don't, I don't really agree with that. You know, I just want to see how it plays out, though.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
looking forward to see how it plays out. You know what I mean? Because we know a lot of times that usually they walk. You know, and that's what people are saying, that if we start retaliating like that, maybe they'll stop doing that. You know,
Yeah,
it'll be
yeah.
eye for
And,
eye.
and and I agree with you when it comes to actually taking someone else's life, the innocent person who had nothing to do with it.
Right.
Because now, whomever that family is, they're going through the same pain and anger that he's going through.
Mm,
So you just duplicated what you're going through.
yeah.
So I don't agree with that either.
Yeah.
And like I said, when I thought that he went and found the other cop, the cop that murdered his son,
Hmm.
I kind of felt like, hey, he felt like he served the justice.
That
But
would have been different.
right, right, right. He felt like he served justice. But as you said, considering where he was in the state of mind that he was in, it's like he did, first thing came to his mind.
Right.
You know what I mean? Okay, here's a cop. They don't care about us. I don't care about them. That type of mentality.
Hmm.
So I think that's where his mind was at. He wasn't thinking that, look, this cop got a family just like him.
Yeah, he had a family too. I think he had 4 kids or four
Right,
grandkids or something.
right. And that's the thing, that once someone gets murdered, that pain get carried on to multiple families. Both families are in pain, actually.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because even the cop that murdered him, now his family in some kind of pain too now because
Yeah.
they don't know what's going to happen to him. They
Mm-hmm.
hoping that okay he gets away with it, but at the same time, how do you really be comfortable hoping that you know someone who took a young person's life get away with it?
Yeah.
So yeah, as you said, it is a touchy and sensitive situation that I believe a solution to that problem, I believe, and this is my own opinion,
Mm-hmm.
I think if cops were forced to have their own insurance,
Yeah.
they would be more mindful before they pull that trigger.
I think so too.
You know, I think because they are able to get the city or the state wherever they're from to pay their bill, they're more loose with pulling that trigger.
Yep. It's a touchy thing. We're gonna continue and talk about it next week as it plays out in the city. Um well we gonna move right along. I got a question for you. I'm gonna ask you the question, then I'm gonna go turn the stove off. But
All right, all right,
the question is um being that we at the age we at now, retirement age or almost there or there, or we got long work histories and we got long hustle histories. We
right.
got just got long history. What's your thought on retirement and that the whole scenario about retiring? What's your what,
Okay,
what's your thoughts on that?
all right. My thoughts on that is basically, you know, retirement is actually getting the opportunity to have your time back, to be able to do some of the things that you would like to do without it being interrupted throughout every day, at least 5 days a week, where you have to go and punch a clock and do something that most of us who work don't truly have jobs that we truly enjoy. There are some of us, if you enjoy your work, as they say, then you don't work a day in your life. But most people go to work to make money. They don't go to work because they're all excited and overwhelmed to get to their job. So I think that many of us are working longer than necessary sometimes because we don't go take the proper precautions. We don't take the proper precautions to set ourselves up so that we can leave those jobs in a early stage in our lives.
Mm,
You know, I'm pretty sure there's many people well in their late 60s and 70s. Now, for those who just like working and they're working because they wouldn't have anything else to do, I'm not talking about those people because there are people who working not because they need the money, just because they have nothing else to do and it keeps them going.
yep.
I'm talking to the people who are working to pay bills and wish they had more time to do some of the things that they like to do. Those are the people that I'm speaking to. I'm speaking to those individuals that how do you get to a point where you're able to capitalize off of the money that you make and utilize that money to set you up to be able to retire early, or to be able to leave your job early and wait for retirement, wait for
Yeah.
your retirement money. I think a lot of people would like to do that.
Yeah.
However, I don't think we have the economic education or the economic literacy on how to go about doing that. And I think that's something that, we need to work on, with each other, like work on being able to save some money, put money in and invest it in stocks, invest it in CDs, invest it in insurance. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, what we have here, we have a lot of term life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the term life is, to me, this is my personal belief. It's more of a ripoff.
The
You
term
know what I? Yeah,
insurance
yeah, yeah,
policy.
the term insurance policy. Because okay, say you get a 200,000 for 15 years.
Yeah.
After the 15 years up, that money's gone. You have to do another term. Whereas if you had a whole life insurance, then that money becomes like a bank. It becomes money you can borrow from and replace it and put it back.
Which one is that? What's the name of that you said?
That's whole life.
Whole life. Yeah, whole
Whole
life.
life. And I believe universal life you can do that as well. But whole life you can do that, and we don't, many of us don't know about that.
Yep.
That it would be better for us, even if it was 50,000. You know what I mean? Even if it was 50,000. You know, how we get lured in is because the term life you could get a higher face number, for a short period of time. So whereas with a whole life you may only be able to afford 50 to 100,000, with term life you may be able to get 200,000.
Oh, okay.
So that's how people get lured in. But at the end of the day, that money that you put out after those 15 years is gone. 15 years you put money out for the whole life, that's money you got. That's money that's in there. So, that's just my take about, working. I think many of us are working only because we have to.
Right.
And we would love to be able to do something else that could make us money. But you don't have enough time between working, taking care of your children, taking care of yourself. I mean, you be beat. I know I used to be, but you know what I'm saying?
I had a term life policy one time during my first marriage.
Right,
And my brother wasn't. He passed away. Rest in peace. My brother was a traveling insurance man, and he kept telling me I need to get insurance because I was married and I had two kids. This was in the '80s, and I had somebody had came to the house, and they asked a bunch of questions, and I wound up getting a term life
right,
for for me, my wife at the time, and my two kids. And I
right,
paid on it for a couple of years, maybe 3 years,
right.
maybe $22 a month at that time. That's like 86, some 80, whatever back then.
Okay,
And then I kind of lost interest in doing it. But I mean, thank God. But think about if I still would have been paying that now from 1984 to now. Term.
right. Yeah,
Now
I mean,
whole life would have been better.
of course, because by now it would have been over anyway. because normally you get like 15 years.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, 15. Yeah, mostly like 15 years you get.
And then what?
Then you have to renew it.
Oh, okay.
15. Yeah, 15. I don't know too many where you get 20 and 25. Most of them give you 15 years. Okay, even if it was 2025, it would have been up right now. And all
Yeah,
that money
because
would have been gone.
we talking about like 40 years ago.
Right. So it would have been gone. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? So
yeah.
so that's the thing about the term. You know what I
Mm,
mean? And it's yeah, if I mean for people of a certain age, I guess if you're like 70 years old, you know what I'm saying, and you kind of sickly and okay, maybe then it's
yeah,
a good idea.
yeah,
But where you were at that time,
yeah. I was
it would have been
23.
it'd have been much better for you to get a whole life.
Yeah, I
And
was like,
I'm surprised your brother didn't tell you.
nah. He didn't tell me. He just sent some lady there, and she came there. Well, a lot of times people be brainwashed. You know what I
Right,
mean? So,
right.
I mean, and she might have talked. I mean, he might have did tell me about it. It's a long time ago. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
even
yeah,
remember.
yeah.
you know.
Yeah, and a lot of times, they get a kickback off of that, off of
Hmm.
signing you up.
Yup.
So that's an incentive to get you to sign up.
Yeah. Yup. So that
Yeah,
was my experiment with insurance.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, for me, and if insurance for me would be whole life, definitely at this point. You
Whole
know,
life.
whole life. Yeah.
You want another question, or you guys
Now,
want to ask me
yeah,
something?
I got one for you.
Okay.
Um, Based on your young daughters, do you think single mothers are doing a good job with raising their sons? Basically, based on your younger daughters and the guys they go out with, do you think that single mothers are doing a good job with raising their sons?
Um, I would, I would, I would think that most of them are, but I will also say that the problem nowadays is probably being more friends than a parent. A lot of us get caught up from our generation, get caught up because I get the real mother and fathers probably the last generations with our parents. Because I know I'm guilty of it, being a friend more than a father to my kids. I'm guilty of it. And I've seen a lot of other people be guilty of it.
Right.
So I wouldn't say they doing a bad job. I just would say that they not doing the right job.
Okay.
You know, um, from people I see, from the people around me. Because you're
Right.
talking about a mother raising a son, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah. And a single mother at that, because I'm well aware that after a son get a certain age, a boy get a certain age, he kind of get, especially once he get taller than his mom and he's
Yeah.
stronger than his mom, he start getting a little rebellious. You know what I mean? Because in his mind, he knows what she gonna really do to me. You know what I mean? What is she gonna do? Like I remember when I was probably, I want to say like 13, 14,
Uh huh.
and my mom wanted to beat me, and I grabbed her hands and held her hands and say, uh, "You, if I don't want you to beat me, you can't beat me." You know what I'm saying? So I mean, she went nuts. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
And
I had
and,
to,
and
I
see,
had to leave the crib.
and that's something because This is real actual experiences. And I remember, I tell people, I remember when I was 15 and my mother ran up in my face talking crazy, you know. And I remember, you know, I kind of like, buffed up. You know what I mean?
Right, bulked up at
I
her,
kind
right?
of buffed up and like stood my ground, and I remember telling her like looking her in the eyes and telling her, "Yo, I'm not afraid of you no more." I said, "I'm not afraid of you no more." You know what I
Right,
mean? And I kind of seen where, you know, she like said in her mind, "Okay, he ain't a little kid no more." But
right,
of course, she told me, "I don't give a damn
right, right.
if
She
you're
still
afraid
gonna
of me
hold
or
her
not."
ground, right?
But
Yeah,
I saw something different. Like when she probably said, "Okay, he ain't a little kid no more." You know what I mean?
right,
So that's true. What you saying? Like once you get a certain age, being a single mother, I don't think it's that easy.
right. And hence that's when they need some type of connection to the father. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Because that's when the father gets to play that role of discipline and structure. You
Yeah.
know, because okay, you buck up at me, I'm gonna punch you in the mouth. Now let me see how tough you really is.
I just saw that shot on TikTok last night. A father, because the caption was right or wrong,
Right,
because the father ran down on his son. His teenage son was kind of big, but the father was kind of stocky too.
right.
And he was telling him, "Look, I'm tired of you, man, getting smart with your mother, getting smart with
Teachers and
your
all that.
teachers, bullying your brothers and sisters." He said, "I'm tired of you, man." You know what I mean? And
Right.
he said he was telling his son, "Bully me, do that to me." So his son was kind of like, stuff like that.
Yeah,
And the
talking
father
under his breath.
and and the father just like hit him with like a 4 piece. His father hit him with like a 4 piece, like, "This what I do. This what I do."
Curled
He
him up.
he folded him up. You know what I mean? And they was like the caption of the video was the father right or was he wrong? You know what I mean? So
Yeah, my thought on it is
yeah,
that he was right in doing it based on what he said the son was doing.
right.
You know what I mean? Because okay, you ain't the toughest person in the house. I'm gonna let you know that you ain't the toughest person in the house. I am,
Right,
and if I'm not making everybody be in fear, I'm not gonna allow you to have everybody in fear.
right, right, right,
You
right.
know, so yeah, so I agree with the father doing that. You know,
Yeah, it was a good thing. Let me see. I got another question for you.
yeah. Let's see what anybody wrote. Let's
Oh,
see.
okay. All right.
Yeah, because we want to make sure we look at people. You know what they wrote, get them their time. Let me see. Be hard to Okay, Big Mac. Are you guys rappers from Jeremy? used to be Jeremy. Used to do that type of thing. Not now. It's different type of raps now. And Big Mac, hey, Miss S, hey, Yeah, we begin. All right. Anybody else want to leave something? We'll read those too. All right. All right. Go ahead, brother.
Um, let's change the note a little bit. Because I think that when we was coming up, it wasn't forced on us too much to know about the political parties. Well, me, I really didn't know much about Republicans and Democrats and socialists and um all the other parties and all the Supreme Courts and all that. I learned that as I got older.
Right.
But now that we older, we know a little bit more about it, and so we touch on everything on the show. So out of all the parties, what parties do you think do more for the people? Our people or the people?
Mm. Um, if you would have asked me that question, probably I want to say about 8 years ago, I
Yeah,
would have said the Democrats.
right.
You know what I mean? I would have said they do more for the people. But after seeing Biden run for office the first time when he was running for office, and he was asked the question, "What would he do for us as a people?" and he avoided the question. He went right into, um, "You got to be crazy if you don't invest in Latinos." So so and the fact that once he got in, they passed the law for the Asians, and they skipped over the George Floyd law. So and now we have, and I remember even having Ronald Reagan, who they said was one of the best presidents. And I remember, how he flooded the streets. During his administration, the streets was flooded with
Yep.
cocaine.
Yep.
And then on the other side of it, his wife was saying, "Let's put the war on, just say no." The war, and then they came up with the war on drugs.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I don't think either one of them are really doing much for us as the people. And when I say us, I mean everybody here in this land. Not just us. I mean, when you look at the prices of things, I say both parties are more concerned with big business than they are with all the people. Because who's really eating? The big business is eating. The people are spending. I mean, my mom live in Alabama,
Right.
Aliceville, Alabama. She says she don't buy eggs anymore because they're $13 a dozen.
She don't buy what?
She don't buy eggs anymore because they're $13 for a dozen of eggs.
Wow.
Now that's ridiculous.
$13.
$13 for a dozen of eggs. So I mean, who's really winning here? And then, we as a people living in this land, I like to call Morocco the Moroccan Empire. People call it America, but I like to call it the Moroccan Empire.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we're living in this land and we are going against each other, either because one of us like Republicans, or one of us like Democrats, or one of us call ourselves black and one of us call ourselves white, and we're battling with each other about frivolous stuff when the real culprits are in the office setting up laws that's making both of our lives more hectic.
Yep.
So for me, I think we as the people need to get together and start demanding better for ourselves as humans. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm about the nationality. Don't get me wrong, because uh, that's something that God made us. God
Right.
made us different. So
Right.
I'm not, so I'm not being different is okay, but from based on what I've read in both books, being different doesn't necessarily mean that have to dislike each other. It means we could get to learn from each other,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
So for me, I'd say both of them suck at this point.
I'm not really a political man. You know what I mean? Either. Um, I can't. I know the old saying or the old song. The Republicans is for the rich. The Democrats is for the poor. That's like the slogan.
Right, right.
Republicans is for the rich. Democrats is for the poor. I can't see either way. You know what I mean? I can't see either way how somebody ever helped us or how somebody didn't help us. You know what I mean? It's so much stuff that's swept under the rug that we don't know about. You could ask the average person, they'd think that Obama was a good president. But then if you dig deep down behind the scenes, you'll find out that he did a lot of stuff that didn't benefit, people of
Right.
our skin tone. You know what I mean? So it's all boulder dash to me. Like is and it's so much going on in this government that we don't know about, like that affects the people at the top. Those the people that's winning. All the people, like you said, the businesses,
Right, right.
the businesses, and all the people at the top. Those the ones that's winning, and everybody at the bottom, you just stay at the bottom. You know, that's the way I just think it is. It's what's gonna be. I don't
Yeah.
think I don't think it's never gonna change
Unless we change it. I mean,
unless
if we
unless
wait on
we
them change
unless
it,
we
right,
change it.
right. If we wait on them to change it, it's gonna stay the way it is. Because why would you change something? The reality is, why would you change something and it's working the way that you want it to work?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? That's what we don't realize, that the way things are, it's designed to be that way.
yeah,
This stuff is not happening like because of osmosis or some accident. No, it's been designed to be this certain way. It's been
true.
designed to keep poor people and keep some people struggling.
Yep.
Before, remember, you used to hear about the middle class so much. You very rarely hear about a middle class,
Now you don't hear about that anymore.
you know. So
You
you
you,
know,
de- you,
and
you definitely don't.
right. So who is the middle class and who is the wealthy? And most of us are one paycheck away from being poor.
Somebody used to say that. I don't know who it was.
You know?
They used to say we one paycheck away from being poor.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
In one
so
hand and out the other one.
well, that's the other part of it. You know, that's the other part. So let me uh, let me give you a question.
Oh, okay.
Uh, who do you think is looking for love more, men or women?
Women. It's just in their nature, I guess, to to look for love and to want love. But I do believe that it's men out here who secretly, even though they might profess it to everybody, but I believe it's men out here who secretly um looking for love. It's just that it's hard to find nowadays. It's like, well, don't get me started.
Yeah.
It's hard to find.
And my thing with that is I think you know how I feel about it. I feel like it's better to learn to love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Rather than just be looking for it. I think it's better to look for companionship or compatibility.
But what do you mean when you say learn to love? What do that mean? Learn to
Well,
love. You gonna
learn to
wait till
love.
do you think you go? Are you saying you wait till you meet somebody to learn to love, or you learn to
Yeah,
love
yeah,
while you
right.
playing the field?
No, both. You learn to love while you by being with the person and learning that person's love language. You know, okay, let me give you an example. There are some people who, if you take them out, get their nails done, you know, dry them around, say nice things to them, that's good for them. You know what I mean? Then there's other ones who you don't have to take them out. They want a home cooked meal. They want you to spend quality time with them. They want to have deep conversations with you, and that's good for them. So that's their love language. Like certain things, that's why I say when we talk about love, it's difficult to define love in one aspect because people need and want different things that motivates them to feel love,
Right.
you know? So, we know love is a feeling, but it's also a feeling that's developed through actions. The reason you can say F love, not because you can't feel it, is because actions don't display it to make you feel
Right.
it. So that's the importance of it, of being able to learn how to love a person rather than just love them the way you think they need to be loved
Right.
or the
Right.
way you used to loving somebody. So that's why I say I believe it's better to learn to love rather than just you know uh, fall in love, because most times people who fall in love or say they're in love with who they think the person is or who they want the person to be,
Right.
not actually who the person is.
That's true.
So that's my take for learning to love rather than saying I fell in love.
Um, I feel like everybody is looking for the right person, or hoping they meet the right person, or waiting for God to bring them the right person. Or somebody said the other day, it ain't no good women left out here in the world. Like it ain't no more good women out here. They all money hungry, uh, gold diggers, you know. And I told the dude, I said, let me explain something to you. You know where the good women at? You know where the good women at? And I heard somebody say this. I said, you know where the good women at? The good women are somewhere being good. That's why you can't find the good women, because the good women are somewhere being good. They not on social media showing their ass and twerking. They not in the clubs getting drunk, dancing and leaving with different people. They not on all these different platforms and all that, acting crazy. Good women are somewhere being good, so you're not gonna find them. You're gonna have to stumble up on a good woman. You know what I mean? And
Right.
and that's it. You ain't gonna find them on TikTok. You ain't gonna find them in the clubs. You're not gonna find them like that. How you find them? You're gonna have to stumble up on them somewhere and find a good woman, because a good woman is somewhere being good. And that's the way I feel
Hey,
about it.
I mean, and that's a, a good point of view.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's a good point of view. To add a little more to it, how and this go for both men and women. How do you want somebody a good man or a good woman when you're not good yourself? When you still got some issues within yourself that you need to correct? Maybe
Right.
that's why you haven't met the good woman or the good man, because you're not ready for that type of individual. So you keep meeting the type of people that you're actually on their level.
Yep. That's a fact. And like, and one more thing, like, good women is going to work and they coming home, and they cooking, and then they going to bed, and you know what I mean. Like, it's gonna be hard to meet. It's gonna be hard to meet one. It's gonna be hard to meet a good woman who is independent, stable, got her own job and her own car and her own apartment and her own money. So she wakes up in the morning and she goes to work. And when she get off of work, she just come right home to her house. That place of solace. You know what I mean? So unless you working with one, or
Yeah.
you bumping into one, but where is all the men? We all on TikTok. Look at that BBL. Look at that, look at that big butt. Look at that. We on Instagram, and we it's a. I don't know this female, but it's a female that's on Facebook. I don't know her, but it's a female on Facebook. I swear, the only pictures she take, Sha, is pictures from the side with her ass. Like, all all her pictures is like that. I've never seen this chick just take a picture of her face. It's always the side with her butt like in the air. And I said, where, like, what is her mind? I'm wondering in my mind, what's in her mind? Like, what attention is she looking for, or what kind of people is she trying to meet, or what kind of people are she meeting? You know what I mean? It just amazes me, man. And another thing, all the people that's getting the body work done, the boobs and the butts and everything. Like, ladies, they don't even understand. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they think when they get their butt done that you looking at them and you drooling and stuff over them. But you not doing that. You looking at them and you saying, man, that don't look right. Or you looking at it, you be like, yo, what we say? Now that one ain't real. that one is fake. She been to DR. That's not real. But the women think you looking at it, drooling and fantasizing and admiring them, and stuff like that's what they think. They think that's how you looking at it. They don't know that you looking at it and like, wow, like that's fake. You know what I mean? Like, she got that's not real. It's not moving, or that's it's fake. You know what I mean? Like, so all that BBL stuff and all right, it's okay to look at, but ain't nobody gonna make a home with that. Nah, I can't see it. I don't know nobody who got one who married to nobody that got a BBL. I don't know. It's probably they probably out there, but I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I don't think it would be from our generation. You know what I mean? Because based on our generation, we looked for something different. And if we did, it would have to look so natural that we didn't even really notice it that it was. And the thing about it is when it's taken to an extent where you can actually tell,
Yeah.
that's when my opinion, you went too far.
Right.
It is basically, I believe women or anybody have the right to do whatever they want to enhance themselves.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now, my only problem with it is, okay, being that you enhancing your body, are you enhancing other characteristics about your personality? You know what I'm saying? I think
Yeah.
that's where it gets a little murky because it's like, okay, you're relying on your body to take care other areas where you need a personality and good character to
Right.
fulfill.
Right.
So that's my take on it. If women leave that part out, then you're doing yourself and you're doing the society a disservice.
Mm. True. True.
You know?
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, so
That's so true.
that's my take. And we about out of time, brother. I know you
Wow,
got
the
to
time
get ready.
the hour be going so fast, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We got to, you got to get ready, and we appreciate you guys from watching. Taking your time out of your day to spend your day with us. We'll be back next week with more questions, more dialogue, and looking forward to y'all. Giving y'all opinion and y'all thoughts as well.
Yeah, we trying to be diverse and talk about everything, so we trying to keep it um
Yeah. Interesting. Interesting.
interesting
Yeah.
for all.
Yeah. Interesting and insightful and entertaining. All in one. You know what I'm saying? And we're working on putting the formula together. And y'all gonna let us know when we got the formula completely together. Y'all gonna
Yeah.
let us know that. So until
Yeah,
then,
I believe that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So we still in the lab tweaking and twerking, trying to get it right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
we
if
gotta we
go
gotta
ahead,
I don't mean to cut you off. We gotta
go ahead.
um and we gotta support each other. You know what I mean? That's the main thing. We gotta support each other. We have to. Um Everything is not for everybody, but everything got a little bit of uh something that you could learn from in it. You know what I mean? So you might have a plate of food and everything on the plate might not be just as good. The collard greens might not be as good as the potato salad. And potato salad might not be as good as the rice and everything. But all in all, the whole plate was good. You know what I mean? And it filled you up. That's how I think about the show. We're gonna be
Right.
talking about different things. You know what I mean? But everything we talking about, we're gonna be passionate about, and straightforward, and hopefully, it could strike a nerve or enlighten people. You know what I mean? So they can look forward to wanting to come back. Because we look forward to coming here every week. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? So
Yeah.
no, we
Yeah.
definitely
It's
do.
definitely our pleasure. Tell them where they can see you at. In about 15 minutes,
Oh,
brother.
about 15. I say about 15, 20 minutes. I'm gonna go on TikTok at JSean763, and I'll be on my Facebook Live Randy J Sean Jackson. Got a couple of topics we gonna talk about tonight. What is the difference between a mistress and a side chick? that came up earlier in the week, and I was like, I'm gonna talk about that. And another topic I want to talk about is first date sex without protection,
Mm.
because I'm gonna make a statement. If anybody come on there lying, I'm cutting them off, because we all guilty of that. Everybody is guilty of that. First time hitting somebody and hitting them raw. You know what I mean? And I think we all guilty of it. I don't know. It might be something that's not. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I
But
mean, and maybe and maybe at least once.
yeah, that's what I mean.
You know what I'm saying? At least once you might have done it, and it may not have been the first date. It just may have been your first sexual encounter. You know what I'm saying? It may have been over some time.
I mean,
So
You always been a protected man, right?
yeah, for the
Yeah,
most part, not always, but for the most part,
yeah,
that's why
yeah.
I said,
You and P.
yeah, I say at least 80 to 90% of the time.
Word, I know you and P, and me and K was about 0%.
Yeah, yeah. In cat. Yeah, yeah. So
But yeah, that's what we're gonna talk about on my show later. First first not first date, first encounter sex without protection, and what's the difference between a mistress and a side chick? Because it is a difference. It is a difference, and I just want to get people opinion on it, and I just want to talk about the reality of, because a lot of people blame children on the man, like, and like it's his fault, like, like you got pregnant and it's the man's fault, he didn't use protection. Or some people might say the woman didn't use protection, like, you know what I mean? Whose fault really is it? Because we all
hey,
guilty of it.
for next week, that's gonna be one of the topics right there. Next
Okay.
week we gonna get
Okay,
on that.
that's a
We
good
gonna
one.
get on that one. I'm gonna write that one down. That was because that's a good one.
It is, right? It
That's a
is.
good one. Yeah, because we definitely need to discuss that next week.
Mhm.
And it's been a pleasure. If you guys, you can see me on Andre Shot D Hill on Facebook, Peep Game TV on Instagram, Peep Game TV on what's the other one? TikTok. And those of you who are on Peep Game TV, if you haven't subscribed, then subscribe. And if you're not following, then follow. Next
Exactly.
week, we leave you all with peace.